Hi, everybody. This is your KidStuff See and Read video book. Here we go with Gloom Over Rainbow Land. As the sun rose over Rainbow Land, all the colors glowed gloriously, and the dewdrops on the grass sparkled like millions of tiny diamonds. But even as the flowers turned their eager little faces to the sun, the clouds and smog over the pits seemed to grow darker and darker. A bright new day meant nothing at all to Murky Dismal. It was always dark over the pits, which was just fine with him. Murky Dismal always did his best mean thinking when it was gloomy, and today was no exception.
Lurky!
Murky Dismal snarled as he blended a new nasty concoction in his laboratory.
Lurky, get your hulk down to Rainbow Land. Find out what those brats have cooking for today and come right back.
Yeah, boss,
Said Lurky.
I mean now.
Growled Murky Dismal.
Okay, I'm going.
Mumbled Lurky as he slowly turned to go.
Quick!
Screamed Murky Dismal in a tantrum.
Quick!
Lurky stumbled out of the entrance to the pits and started to gallop down the hill toward Rainbow Land, picking up speed as he went. But clumsy as usual, the big galoot tripped and fell and started to roll. Down the hill he went head over heels, faster and faster, leaving his little gray gloom cloud far behind. Lurky finally came to a stop smack in the middle of the annual Rainbow Land picnic at Prism Pond. He just lay there in the middle of all the potato salad and coleslaw, huffing and puffing in a huddled heap. Suddenly, Lurky felt a tiny, gentle hand patting his aching head. He heard a sweet little voice gurgling and cooing and making soothing sounds.
Ooh, all right? Ooh, all right?
Which was Baby Brite's way of asking, "Are you all right?" Just then, Puppy Brite came sniffing around. Wagging his tail, Puppy yipped and yapped until the color kids and the sprites stopped what they were doing and came over to see what all the racket was about. Red Butler, whose turn it was to look after Baby Brite, was the first to recognize Lurky.
Look, it's Lurky. This could mean a lot of trouble.
Indigo was worried.
What are we gonna do? We've got to tell Rainbow Brite,
Insisted Canary Yellow.
You're right, Canary.
Buddy Blue agreed, but Patio Green saw one problem.
What should we do about Lurky? We can't just leave him here. Maybe he's hurt.
Shy Violet looked around.
I don't see Lurky's gloom cloud anywhere. That means we're safe from Murky Dismal for a while. I say we all go to the Color Castle right now and take Lurky with us.
The color kids and the sprites agreed, and they set off to see Rainbow Brite, with Baby Brite and Puppy Brite bringing up the rear, and Lurky trotting after them like a big, hairy hound dog. Rainbow Brite had been working in her garden in front of the Color Castle when her friends arrived. She wasn't at all concerned when the color kids told her about Lurky, and she explained.
He's not so bad, really. When Murky Dismal isn't around, Lurky is pretty nice. Not too bright, but nice.
Twink smiled and told Rainbow Brite,
You always find something good to say about a person. But I'm afraid of what Murky Dismal will do when he finds out that Lurky is here in Rainbow Land. You've got a point there, Twink.
Rainbow Brite said to her favorite sprite.
We'll have to send Lurky back to the pits.
But without the little gray gloom cloud over his head to keep him under Murky Dismal's control and unhappy, Lurky had fallen under the happy spell of Rainbow Land's bright colors. The sprites were so cheerful, Puppy Brite was so frisky and playful, and Baby Brite had truly found a special spot in Lurky's heart. Lurky dropped to his knees and cried,
I don't want to go back to the pits. Please don't make me. Please, please.
Rainbow Brite was very soft-hearted, and with a sigh, she answered,
Well, maybe you can stay for a little while.
Then Lurky really started to feel happy, and he didn't feel happy very often. That could only happen when the gloom cloud wasn't around. To show how happy he was not to feel unhappy, Lurky decided to make himself useful. He rescued mischievous Puppy Brite from the ledge around the dome of the color castle. He carried a huge melon in from the melon patch for Patio Green, and he brought Baby Brite's big striped balloon down from the top of a tree. By the end of the day, everyone in Rainbow Land was glad to have Lurky around. But by the end of the day at the pits, Murky Dismal wasn't glad about anything. He was angry as he grumbled.
Where is that stupid Lurky? I told him to come right back from Rainbow Land. That big oaf doesn't know how to listen. He doesn't pay attention to a thing I say.
As he stood at the entrance to the pits, Murky Dismal looked down the hill toward Rainbow Land. Murky Dismal mumbled to himself as he tried to spot his assistant coming up the hill, but there was no sign of Lurky. All Murky Dismal could see was a little gray cloud hanging over the hill halfway down.
There's nothing out there but a little gray cloud,
said Murky Dismal.
A little gray cloud?
He repeated, doing a double take.
Lurky got away from under the little gray gloom cloud. No wonder he didn't come back. He's probably happy as a clam in Rainbow Land. I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
Murky Dismal was so angry that he had another honest-to-goodness tantrum. He threw himself down on the ground and pounded his fists and kicked his feet, and all the time he kept screaming,
A little gray gloom cloud! Ooh, 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 a little gray gloom cloud!
When he was all screamed out, Murky Dismal stood up and shook his head clear.
I'll just have to do something about that.
He growled. Then he headed for his laboratory inside the pits. Once inside the laboratory, Murky Dismal began to feel more like his usual mean self. Soon he was busy concocting clouds of gloom that went sailing out of the pits and down the hill toward Rainbow Land.
I'll show that Lurky.
Murky Dismal muttered while he worked.
I'll show that Rainbow Brat and her goody two-shoes gang that Murky Dismal isn't anyone to fool around with me.
By the next morning, the gloom clouds were so thick over Rainbow Land that the sun couldn't shine through. It stayed almost as dark as night. It was so dark that all the bright colors seemed to fade away to gray. Rainbow Brite looked up at the sky full of clouds and cried,
Oh no! Those gloomy clouds are heading this way from the pits. Murky Dismal is covering Rainbow Land with gloom.
Shy Violet nodded and said,
He's very clever.
Clever?
shouted the colored kids, puzzled.
Yes, clever.
Said Shy Violet, who was very good at figuring out things.
Murky Dismal knows he can't control Lurky unless there's a gloom cloud around to keep him unhappy. Murky Dismal must have figured out that Lurky is here in Rainbow Land, but he doesn't know exactly where. So, to play it safe and be sure that he gets to Lurky, Murky Dismal put all of Rainbow Land under a gray gloom cloud.
For the first time ever, everyone in Rainbow Land was unhappy. Even Canary Yellow, who was always sunny and cheerful. But the most unhappy one of all was Lurky, who moaned and groaned.
Ooh, it's all my fault. Ooh, it's all my fault.
Lurky looked at all his newfound friends and saw the gloom over Rainbow Land. He felt sad, but not only because he was back to his own gloomy self. There was another reason.
My mind is made up.
Lurky told Rainbow Brite and the entire Rainbow Land family.
I'm going back to the pits.
Oh no!
Everyone protested,
Don't go!
but Lurky's mind was made up.
I have to go. That's the only way Murky Dismal will let the sun shine on Rainbow Land again. That's the only way your colors will be bright again.
Then, looking very heavy-hearted, Lurky started to walk slowly up the hill toward the pits. As he walked, the thick gray gloom clouds seemed to follow after him. Soon the sun shone brightly on Rainbow Land once again. All the colors glowed gloriously, and the dewdrops on the grass sparkled like a million tiny diamonds.
I hate to see Lurky go.
said Rainbow Brite with a sigh.
Me too.
Cooed Baby Brite. Barked Puppy Brite, wagging his tail.
We sort of got used to having the big lunk around,
said Red Butler. And Buddy Blue agreed.
Yeah, he wasn't so bad after all.
I'm going to miss him.
Cried Indigo.
He did what he had to do,
Said Shy Violet.
and he did it for a good reason.
What do you mean?
Asked Lala Orange.
I know what Shy Violet means.
Said Rainbow Brite to her colorful family.
Lurky showed how much he loves us by going back to the pits and letting the sun shine on Rainbow Land again.